Hello guys, welcome to the studio and welcome back for another episode of Trashy Thursday. So here is my pile of trash for the week, so let's see what we have. First thing I have are some lids. This one is from a jar of peanut butter. This one is off the top of a can of Pringles. I like to keep these especially during the summer, anytime I know I'm going to travel. These make excellent dot cards for watercolor. So you can take your watercolors out of a tube, put them on a piece of watercolor paper and let it dry, and then take it with you. So that's one way to do it, but I like using these little lids. So I will just go through and, number one, it forces me to have a limited palette because I can probably only fit about 5 colors comfortably in here. So I will just put dots of my 5 colors that I want to work with and let it dry. Depending on how thick you put it down, it may take a day or two, but just let it dry, and then when you're ready to travel, you can just grab this, throw it in your bag, and when you get there and you wet it, you can have your watercolors with you. So either one of these will work. I actually usually travel with both because then I can use one to hold my watercolors and one for my mixing. So I don't have to worry about taking another dish or anything with me to mix my paints. So these always like to hang out in my travel bag. And when you're done with the colors, you can either just use them up somewhere and then wash these out and reuse them with another palette. Or, because I'm always getting lids, you can just have different palettes already loaded and decide which one you want to take with you. So next I had gotten a new Tim Holtz stencil, this little color swatch one. So I have both the insert and the clear bag that it came in. The clear bag I actually think I'm going to turn into a page in one of the books. I'm not sure which book yet, but I do like to use these. So I'll just kind of tuck that to the side. Same for this. 2 things I typically do with these. Either I fold them in half and turn them into pages in a journal, or this can become a really large tag. So I can nip the edges off, give myself a hole in the center, and then decorate it just as if I would any other tag. Adding some gesso, adding some collage, whatever I want to do to cover up what it is, but it's essentially free paper that they're giving you. Then my doggies got some new toys, and they came on these really heavyweight, I mean almost chipboard weight, so I couldn't throw these away. They do have a little bit of a cutout design, so I think what I'm going to do is just go ahead and trim so that they're more square, but then cover them. And I'm thinking, since I have 2 of them, I think I'm going to go ahead and use them for a book cover, and I'll figure out my binding as we're working through it. But if I only had one, what I would probably do is use this as a back for some sort of a collage. So I would just start all my collage and it would give it a little bit of weight. But since I have 2 that match, I kind of have to make a book with them. I ordered something from Simon Says Stamp. So of course I have another one of these really heavyweight. Oh look, probably because I bought 2 stencils. So look, I have 2 of those. That was the other stencil that I had to buy, the little brush marks one. So again, page in a book, smaller collage. This would be great in the back to give it some weight. So I like to kind of just leave these sitting around. This one is a little different and maybe only for me, but my chickens finished a bag of food, so I went ahead and opened up all the seams and took it outside and rinsed it. So now I have this material, which is kind of like, I think it's called Tyvek. It's the stuff that like a FedEx bag is made out of. So I think what I want to do with this, because I have used these before and I've painted parts of it, and then I've actually used it in sewing projects. So I think what I'm going to do is when I replace this underpaper, I'm actually going to put this down and use it as my underpaper and then let it become part of my collages. So there's some dog food bags that are also made of this material. I know some dog food bags are just paper bags, but this is more like a plasticky. So that's why I really like it for fabric projects, because you can throw it through a sewing machine and everything. So you'll probably be seeing that ending up on my table. And then I got some more packing material, so I'm not going to unfold this one because it's going to be really noisy, but I usually don't get packing material that's kind of this reddish color, kind of like a burnt red. So I have to keep this one because usually I just get brown paper. So this one, it may not even end up, I may just stamp on it and use it as some collage material. In fact, I think that's what I'm going to do. So I will spread it out. I'll do that after I'm off the microphone because it's noisy. And I got another piece of this. This was in the video from a couple weeks ago, kind of this bubble, like the recyclable bubble wrap that they're using now. I had ordered a bunch of candles, so every time I pull out a new one from the box, I have another one of these, which I just love. I jelly printed it with it last time, so I'm going to try to find something different to do with it this time. So I am just going to grab some supplies, and I'm going to work on this reddish paper. Just going to add some stamping and mark making to it so that it has a good collage. And then I think I will go ahead and work on straightening these out and just adding some kind of base material on top of here, probably some collage, so that they're ready to go and I can figure out what kind of binding I want to do before I go any farther. So let me grab my supplies and I'll be right back with you.